Okay, guys, who should be the fifth starter for the Oklahoma City Thunder? Should it be Andre Roberson or should it be Patrick Patterson? Now, Roberson may very well be the slightly better player with his supreme defense, but Andre Roberson, a very big net negative on offense. So Patrick Patterson, despite the gripes that a lot of Toronto Raptors fans had with him in years past, he may very well be the better fit for this newly assembled super team. Let's talk about it real quick. Different ways to go about this. So with Roberson in the starting lineup, the problem is you have two non-entities on offense, Roberson and Steven Adams, and so it becomes much easier to defend this Super 3 big team. Now, with Patrick Patterson in the starting lineup, all of a sudden it's much, much harder. And also, Patterson is a much better defender than Carmelo Anthony, but he's also probably a better rebounder, and he's also a better three-point shooter, 38% compared to like 35% for Carmelo Anthony. So having that great three-point shooting out there would allow, and see all these guys can shoot the three ball, George, Melo, and Patterson on the court, rather than just George and Melo, right? So what this does is it opens up the lane for Russell Westbrook, MVP, to be the best Russell Westbrook possible. The only way it could be better is if you had a three-point shooter in Steven Adams. So this is how I would do it. I would just stretch the floor out, let Russell Westbrook play his game, because that's what he's going to do anyway. Now you've got him surrounded by three shooters. He never had that last year. And Paul George, he may not be a natural fit at shooting guard anymore because he's a little older, a little stronger, maybe a little bit slower. But this is just going to be absolutely awesome. This is as potent a starting lineup just about as offensively in the entire NBA. So you can have Russell Westbrook just attacking the rim nonstop with the floor nicely stretched, and then you can have Paul George posting up much smaller shooting guards inside without a crowded paint, with most of these guys stretching the floor. Steven Adams stretch them out to mid-range anyway and let Paul George go to work. Then you have Paul George as a rebounder from your shooting guard spot. Russell Westbrook and Melo can chuck all the shots they want, and you've got great rebounding now with Paul George from that shooting guard spot. So this lineup may not be the fastest full court, but Paul George is still pretty fast, and certainly lots of trailers who can knock down the three. So this, to me, in my opinion, is the better starting lineup than the slightly better defensive lineup with Andre Roberson in it. So Jeremy Grant, a guy who got increasing minutes, a guy who actually shot the three pretty well, he's kind of that hybrid. So they had him listed as a small forward last year, but he's very much a hybrid who can also play some power forward. Starting Patterson would give them probably a good amount of power forward depth, and Melo and George can all play a little bit of power forward too. So we might even see some crazy small ball lineups with Patrick Patterson playing center, Melo at 4, Paul George at 3. These guys have major options. So point guard depth is definitely a little bit of a weakness, but at least they have two guys who can at least get on the court. And as training camp approaches and ends, there's going to be cast-offs. There's going to be tough cuts, guys who are NBA caliber who are left off a roster. So if any of these guys aren't cutting it, you can pick up somebody of decent quality. And shooting guard, another position where there's going to be guys who are tough cuts from training camp who can make a roster. So Dakari Johnson is going to be real interesting. I was a fan of him coming out of Kentucky. All of a sudden, Dakari Johnson finds himself thrust into the playing rotation of suddenly a borderline NBA contender. This is going to be a super team. They're going to be on TV all the time. Everyone's going to be watching this show. And Dakari Johnson probably finds himself as the backup center now. I think he played decent in D-League last year, and he's got a 2-year contract with the Thunder, so 2 years guaranteed, I believe. So that'll be a whole lot of fun to watch. Hopefully he's up to the challenge. He may, he's got some skills too. He's got some offensive coordination. He's a big body to throw out there. So Terrence Ferguson, a guy who they probably should not have drafted, a guy who's more of a long-term project at the very least. This guy even struggled in Australia last year. They are probably regretting that now because they could have one of many much better players ready to chip in and contribute this year. So, but who knows? Maybe he can stand around and shoot jumpers and play some quality defense. Maybe he can even defend point guards or something crazy. He's athletic, he's quick, he's very long. So maybe he can do that and find himself as a 3-and-D guy on this sudden super team. So guys, let me know what you think. Who should be the fifth starter? Should it be Andre Roberson or should it be Patrick Patterson? This will be a whole lot of fun to watch. Guys, I will see you soon. Peace.